Good morning, everyone. We from Group 6. Today we will present about the research methodology process for us. Our title is A Study on the Relationship Between Monthly Allowance and Total Amount Spent Shopping Online. Thank you.
My name is Koja Ing and my entry number is A2280598. I will present the Chapter 1 Introduction. The development of today's society have given the younger generations a huge convenience in consumption, especially in online shopping, which leads students become a main consumer groups. Therefore, this study will explore the relationship between monthly allowance and total amount spent shopping online with three independent variables, which are monthly allowance, frequencies of allowance distribution, and amount of saving. Monthly allowance will affect total amount spent shopping online, such as more disposable income will lead higher chance of impulsive spending and also will determine the scope of their online shopping consumption. Frequencies of allowance distribution will impact money management and spending control, which is students with irregular or daily allowance might tend to have unstable saving and unpredictable spending behavior. The amount of saving related to mental accounting and theory of planned behavior, which need to analyze how saving habits influence online shopping behavior. In overall, existing literature have limited research on spend shopping online among Malaysian students, then this study will aim to fill the gaps to such research. Next, research questions are: is there a relationship between monthly allowance and total amount spent shopping online? Is there a relationship between the frequencies of allowance distribution and total amount spent shopping online? And is there a relationship between the amount of saving and the total amount spent shopping online? The research objective will be to examine the relationship with these three independent variables and total amount spent shopping online. Next, research significance of this study are: exploring student online spending with reveal student concept of online consumption but also understand preference in online shopping. Understand student spending value, which will help society to guide student spending value. Cultivate student rational consumptions through detailed research results and also accurately guide student concept of money and spending. And solve the potential impulse consumption problem of students with health-related personal find more effective way to help students manage their money. And the last, the operational definition related in this study are shown as below, which are consumer behavior theory, theory of planned behavior, quantitative research, qualitative research, and measurement scale.
Hi, my name is Lozi and my matching number is 8228069. I will introduce the Chapter 2 Literature Review. A literature review summarizes, compares, and comments on the most relevant scholarly material. First, the underpinning theory, known as the theoretical foundation of this study, explore the main theoretical framework of the relationship between monthly allowance and student total amount spent shopping online. It also is the basic framework of interdisciplinary research, which helps us to understand complex phenomena and guides practical application. Moreover, we adopt the consumer behavior theory. It explains how people make purchasing decisions and points out that economy and social factors are important external stimuli that affect decision making. Additionally, we use the theory of plant behavior (TPB), which was developed by Eisen in 1991. The theory points out that behavioral attitude, subjective norm, and perceived behavioral control are important factors in predictive action intention. In summary, this study combines theory of psychology, economics, and consumer behavior to build a multi-theoretical framework. Through this integration, we can more fully understand how the monthly allowance affects student online shopping spending in different consumption scenarios. Next, I will introduce the dependent variable of this study. This study used the total amount spent shopping online as dependent variable to explore whether personal factors such as income, consumption habits, and lifestyle that affect the frequency and amount of online shopping by college students. In theory, we use the consumer behavior theory that consumer behavior is influenced by psychological, social, and economic factors and compare it with the theory of planned behavior (TPB), which emphasizes the importance of attitude, subjective norm, and perceived behavioral control on behavioral intention. For example, when students think that online shopping is convenient, their friends are also using it, and they can easily buy it through their mobile, they are more likely to consume it. So, the factors provided in the theory of planned behavior are more applicable to this study. In terms of the key dispute, although there is a view that student consumption mainly comes from personal needs, in reality, students often find it difficult to distinguish between the necessary consumption and non-necessary consumption, and consumption behavior is highly subjective. Also, most existing studies focus on college and universities in the remote area of China and pay less attention to Malaysian college students. So, this study target students from University Malaysia Kelantan in the hope of gaining a more comprehensive understanding of the factors that affect total spending amount in online shopping and filling this research gap.
Hi, my name is Chua Xiong Chen. Let's talk about our first independent variables, monthly allowance. It refers to the regular money students receive from their parents or guardians, which reflects their disposable income for daily spendings. So, based on the theory of planned behavior by MJ in 1991, this allowance affects student perceived financial control, shaping how they plan and act on spending decisions. A recent study by Tok and Chia in 2024 confirms that more allowance leads to more online shopping. Means wow. Consumer behavior theories explain that students try to maximize utilities under budget limits. However, Polopi and his friends in 2023 found that too much allowance can reduce self-control, causing wasteful spending. So, the debate is spending habits driven by money or by myself. We believe TBB gives a better explanation because it includes both economic and psychological factors. Past research mostly focus on the economic side. So in our study at UMK fills this gap by combining both perspectives to better understand students' online buying behavior. Let's go into our second variable, frequency of allowance distribution. This means how often students receive pocket money. For example, like weekly, monthly, or irregularly. Based on the theory of planned behavior, regular allowance helps students feel more in control, allowing them to plan their online spending better. But if it's irregularly, if control reduce control and may lead impulsive buying. A 2013 report from China also showed that students with consistent allowance frequency develop better financial habits. While consumer behavior theories looks at the money itself, TBB includes the psychological side, which gives a more complete picture. This study helps us fill the gap by applying TBB to Malaysian students at UMK University Malaysia Kelantan, connecting allowance frequency with online shopping behavior. Our third variable is amount of savings, which refers to the money students set aside for future use or emergencies. According to the theory of planned behavior, saving behavior is driven by strong intentions, and this can reduce unnecessary spending, especially on online shopping. German in 2015 also found that the stronger the saving goal, the lower the spending on non-essential items. We also refer to mental accounting theory by Taylor, which explains that students mentally divide money into accounts, like saving, shopping, or foods. More saving in one account may mean less spending in another, especially online. While mental accounting helps us understand money categorization, TBB gives a better explanation of how saving intention actually change behavior. This study will focus on analyzing the specific impact of amount of saving on total amount spent shopping online of University Malaysia Kelantan to fill the knowledge gap in this regard. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Hong Chunshan. My matrix number is 820800692. Now we are going to talk about Chapter 3 Research Design Methods. For our research design, we have adopted a framework that guides our study. First, regarding types of data, we are using both quantitative and qualitative data. Quantitative data is for measurable and countable information, like numerical values for spending, and qualitative data which provides explanations and insights into behaviors and motivations. We combine both of them together for a more complete picture. Next, our type of source is primary source. This means we collect our original data directly from our respondents. We are doing this through a questionnaire survey created using Google Forms and distributed to EMK students via WhatsApp group. For statistical analysis, we will apply descriptive statistics to summarize our data, correlation analysis to find relationships between variables, and regression analysis to predict outcomes. Our survey process involves collecting responses via Google Forms and then recording this data in Microsoft Excel. Finally, for analysis 2, we will use SPSS software to calculate our results, including correlations and regressions, and to perform various analyses like normality and reliability tests.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Xiaowen Han. My training number is 822A045. Today, I will present about the method and sources. Firstly, we have research instrument. It divides into five demographic, which include the personal documentations, dependence variable, total amount spent shopping online, which consists amount of monthly spending, and types. First, independence variables, monthly allowance amount. It includes amount of monthly allowance and money value. Second, independence variables, frequencies of allowance distribution include frequencies of receiving the allowance in sufficient balance and financial plan. Third, independence variable, amount of saving include money saving, frequency, and benefit. Secondly, measurement scale we use will be the nominal scale, ordinal scale, and ratio scale. For the nominal scale, we record about the gender, faculty, and sources of allowance. Ordinal scale, example like I am a sensible consumer. Ratio scale, like how much money from monthly allowance. Third, we talk about the data analysis technique. It divides into five: descriptive statistic, ANOVA, correlation, regressions analysis, reliability, and normability test. Descriptive data statistic, we talk about to summarize demographic data, average allowance, and spending pattern like mean, mode, median, frequency, and percentage. ANOVA and the correlation will be the same to assess the difference between the means of more than two groups. Regression analysis is for to assess the predict range of allowance amount on total amount spent shopping online. Reliable test is to ensure internal consistent of liquor scale item. Normability to classify data into distant category without any inherent order or ranking. Lastly, data collections. We will use the Google form to build a questionnaire. The collection period will be 1 month and we only collect from FKP and our expected respondent will be 50. If more than 50, we also acceptable.
Now, let's continue with sampling. First, our population of this research is all UMK students, specifically focusing on the Faculty of Entrepreneurship and Business, which is FKP students at UMK Campus Kota. Secondly, for our sampling size, we aim to survey approximately 50 FKP students, and this number balances practicality with the need for reliable data. Third, the unit of analysis in our study is the individual student. Each student's responses will be treated as a single data point. Lastly, our sampling technique is simple random sampling. This method ensures every FKP student has an equal chance of being selected, which helps makes our findings generalizable, and we will distribute our Google form through FKP WhatsApp groups and selected the first 50 respondents for our analysis.
Now I will present about 3.4 research analysis. First of this part, I will show the questionnaire The questionnaire will derive following the research instrument, which is demographic, dependence variable, independence variable 1, independence variable 2, and independence variable 3. There will be some example beside. Secondly, for research analysis, we have three main calculations, which is descriptive statistic, correlations, and simple linear regressions. Descriptive statistic we use to calculate monthly allowance and spending variables mean, medians, and standard deviations. The calculations is used to analyze of variables. ANOVA is a statistical formula used to compare variance across the means or average of the different group. Simple linear regression to evaluate predict power more expenditure as the dependence variable and allowance as the independence variable would allow for simple linear regressions.
My name is Niu Zijia and my metric number is A22A0224. Now I would like to share 4.1 practical implications. This study has practical value for four main groups, which is students, parents, institutions, and governments. First, students can benefit from targeted financial literacy programs, many that struggle with managing money, leading to impulsive spending. Schools can introduce workshops or basic budgeting modules to help students allocate their allowance wisely, such as 50% for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings. Students can also use apps like Pocket Guard or using financial education events like My Money and Me by MFPC. Second, parents can use the finding to manage pocket money better. Giving fixed allowances at regular intervals helps students plan their expenses. Discussing budgets together and encouraging part-time jobs also builds financial responsibility and helps students value money. Third, institutions should recognize that financial stress affects academic performance. Universities can offer budgeting consultations, peer mentoring programs, and even emergency funds to help students cope. Finally, for governments, this study supports including financial education in school curricula. Right now, Malaysia lacks formal financial education. The government could model programs like Singapore's Money Sense that teaching students money management skills early on. Theoretically, this study supports and explains two main frameworks. The first one, theory of planned behavior (TPB). Students with regular allowance feel more in control, which leads to more responsible spending. This supports TPB's ideas that perceived control influences behavior. Next, consumer behavior theory. It's not just how much money students have that matters. Factors like source and frequency of allowance also influence habits. For example, students who earn part-time income are often more cautious with spending. This research also challenges common assumptions that spending habits depends only on income. In fact, students with irregular or earned allowance show better discipline. Finally, it opened doors for future research, such as studying financial habits over time or comparing rural and urban students. Overall, the findings offer both academic and practical value, helping improve financial education and policy for students in Malaysia.
That's all our presentation. Thank you.